So let's spend a little time in this section talking about pricing strategies. There are many strategies and approaches that will require you in the very beginning to be more hands-on, that will allow you to optimize the pricing in your market. You want to make sure that you are hands-on, especially over maybe the first 90 days, that you are the one going in and tweaking those prices, but that you don't have a static price. You won't be able to optimize your earnings if you have just a set price for the weekday and a set price for the weekend, and you're not dynamically pricing them based on supply and demand, based on seasonality, based on events and holidays and other things that may be going on that will allow you to change that price and not keep it just a static price. In addition to, as I told you earlier, many of these sites will rate you and rank you based on how hands-on you are, how involved they see you in the process. So by your prices constantly changing, whether you're doing it or whether you're getting technology to do it, it gives the appearance that you are actively involved in your business, and that kind of activity will help you to rank well. So some things to look at over the first 90 days as you're optimizing your pricing is low season weekday pricing, low season weekend pricing. And then you have peak season weekday pricing, peak season weekend pricing, and then peak dates pricing in terms of holidays. So this is like the macro. You want to, in general, approach it with these 5 price points in mind. Now from there, you can start tweaking and perfecting based on other factors that we're going to go a little more in detail about. But I put here that I recommend not using Airbnb smart pricing, because overall those algorithms are not designed to maximize your earnings as a host. And we've experimented with all of this stuff, so we know. But again, you can try it, but I would not recommend using their platform for smart pricing. They're going to make prices low at times when it should be high. The more bookings they get, the more in their pocket. And it doesn't necessarily work in your best interest as a host. I recommend, again, certain dynamic pricing software that I mentioned earlier. So think about seasonality. Seasonality is essentially peak seasons versus low seasons. And so you want to get a good handle on how your rates go, because again, your rates will be entirely different for, say, the Christmas season as opposed to a lower month or the lowest month in terms of trends. So seasonality is important from that perspective. Special events, you need to think about all of the local events that attract a crowd in your area. For example, in Houston, Texas, a lot of people come here for medical purposes. There's a big medical environment. We also have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So a lot of people come for rodeo events. We have great sports franchises like the Astros. So people come for those events. So you want to think about what your area is and what attracts the most people in your area in terms of special events, because those times you can do things differently in terms of pricing that can optimize your returns. Then you want to eventually start to also look at the historical trend. This is only assuming that you've been operating for at least a year or better. Now you can actually go back and look at all of the data, so you can look at peak season dates, and also spotting the trends that are occurring within your data. So now you know how, this time last year, I booked out completely for 2 months at this price. And if you booked out for 2 months straight, that means you probably priced it too low. So that means the next season around the same time, you might want to spike your prices by 10 to 20% just to see how much it gets booked. If it's getting booked the same, then you incrementally increase it again by 10%. You keep gauging it like that. Once you reach your peak price point, you'll know, because you won't be getting booked as often. And then you can turn around and reduce it, slightly, kind of going reverse by 10% until you get that optimum point. Then of course, the main driver is supply and demand. I don't care what you think your Airbnb or short-term rental is worth. If the market is saying that it's not worth that, then people are not going to pay for it. So it's easy to collect this data. Like I said, all you have to do is use the right software and the right tools, set your price points, and then actually even allow the dynamic pricing software to do the work for you. So again, use software applications like BeyondPricing.com, Price Labs, Logify, Hospitable.com. There's so many of them out there. But look at how each platform is performing to decide where else you might want to place your listing. You can get this information also from similarweb.com. I'm going to do a comparative analysis in similarweb.com in a later lesson, but I want you to be able to see this and see how it works. Overall, developing the optimum pricing strategy takes time. In the beginning, hands-on, understand seasonality more than anything. Start to play with the price and see where you hit your best price points. Also, as you go and keep testing, look back over the last quarter or the last half a year and collect that data as well, so you can also start to see the trends. From there, you'll be able to really optimize your price points and maximize your returns. So these are my suggestions for how you move forward starting out. I'll see you on the next lesson.